welcome back to Warrior Moms Podcast. I am Michele.
And I'm Amy, and we are two of the Warrior Moms. I am a mom of Alec, who we lost 4 years ago at the age of 24, and Michele is...
Lost Carter at 17, 7 years ago.
7 years ago, yes. And we appreciate all y'all being here. I appreciate Michele being here with me each and every episode.
Yes.
But today, around here, it is back to school time.
Yes.
I know the last end of last week, all of this week, we have got picture after picture of the different school systems and kids going back to school, first day of school photos. And I always think about so many of our moms in our group because they're missing these
Moments.
Yeah. They lost it. And I think about you especially because Carter was about to start his senior year, his first day of his senior year. And you didn't get that.
Yeah.
That first day of senior year picture that's, the iconic obligatory picture.
Right.
Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah,
I'm curious to know how you feel.
Yeah, I am just at any moment I could just break down. You'll hear it in my voice right now. It is just so sad. It's so sad. And as a teacher, I say it's kind of like I'm living Groundhog Day, that movie, because I have to give a first day, like a good first day for all my students. And of course, what's on my mind is exactly what you just said, is Carter didn't get to have his first day. He died on his first day of what should have been his senior year. And so everything that flashes, in my head, I'm thankful. I try to focus on those moments leading up to it that were so beautiful and so happy. We had gone to South Dakota, I talked about for 2 weeks, but right before we were doing our senior picture shopping because we knew we were going to do his senior photos out in South Dakota. And Carter was a gear kid. Clothes, shoes,
all
baseball
matching.
gear,
Yeah,
lacrosse gear, all of that. And so, he spent a whole evening trying on all sorts of outfits. Yes. And, come in and he'd tuck it different ways and so forth. And then even when we got to South Dakota, he did that at my mom's house, making sure, this was the right outfits and the right shoes with the outfit. And so that's a really, really happy moment for me. And, just last night, actually, Greta was doing some homework for her world history class. And one of the things that she was asked was, what's something that, or maybe it was her English class, but what's something really hard that you had to face and that you pushed through? And she was like, I don't know, Mom. And I was like, honey, I know exactly what it is. And it relates to our topic today. It's not the first of the year, but the end of the year, which Carter should have had. And that's part of the sadness is his graduation, his high school graduation. And that year, Greta walked in his place. And so, she was 9 and had to walk up on that stage. And we had a family friend who played lacrosse with Carter, and they allowed him just to walk her up the stairs, but not across the stage. And she did it. And
in front of all those people.
In front of all those people and the whole stadium. So there was,
I've got chills just thinking about
this. 400 plus kids plus all of their families. And they had put a lacrosse jersey, number 4, on Carter's, which should have been his seat. And when she turned around to face, everyone was on their feet standing and everyone put a number 4 up. I was going to cry. In the graduation facility. It was just beautiful. So I try my hardest to think about those beautiful moments. And here I was sitting last night, knowing it was, her first days of school, and that I just needed to push through and let her see her strength. And in doing so, I'm also kind of feeling my own strength. So yeah, it's really, really hard the first day of school. And I know so many of our moms say it's the
worst day of the year, especially if they lost them when they were younger.
Yes.
And they were supposed to be going into 6th grade or 7th grade or 3rd grade. We have moms that have lost them at all different ages.
Yes.
And I could only imagine.
Yeah, and our pictures are frozen,
Yeah.
and that, we look at our pictures and it's weird because time marches on and yet it's frozen at the same exact time. And we look and there's our beautiful children. And then we're like, you look at social media and you're like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. So-and-so is, doing this instead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Watching other people. And that's where, for me, like, I love the back to school pictures. I love seeing them. I love seeing friends, kids growing up, friends of Layla, just everywhere. I
Yes.
love seeing back to school photos. But I think one of the things that makes me not so sad is that we finished all of those years.
Right. Yeah.
I had
happy
all of
memories.
those happy memories. School was miserable memories for Alec, but he was not as good. But he's still, this first day of school photos, I still made him do them.
Yeah.
Even back when we had, cameras that you had to get film and develop, we still made the first day of school photos. And he always told me I was stupid and this was stupid. And, he never wanted to do it, but he obliged. And we did get those photos and finish up. And I think that's something that I did get to have. So therefore I do hold on to them. And I remember those days as Alec has gone through them as happy memories.
Right.
But what I do have a problem, I shouldn't say a problem with, but where I find hard is when I have friends of mine that are having grandbabies.
Right.
Their kids that are Alec's age, he would be 28. So their kids are from 26 to 30. Their children have been married. Their children are having kids. And I remember saying to Alec, you're going to get payback when you have kids.
Right.
Oh, you're going to get paid back tenfold when you have kids. I'm going to remind you about this when your child's doing this. And I'm missing that.
Yeah.
Like, that was taken away when Alec was taken away. And those are the things that I'm going to miss.
Yeah.
And you don't
so
think
much
about that.
Grief about the present, right? As us being in today and grieving it today. And then also that future of exactly what you're saying, what your child would have been, could have been, should have been.
Should be. Yes. I should be babysitting my grandkids.
Yeah. All those things are so hard. So what do we do as grieving
I'm going to go take a nap on the sofa.
Good. I'm going to pack my day with
just pack
crafts
it, overpack it. Yes. I'm going to paint 42 pictures.
That's right.
No, I mean, it's as hard as it is, you push through.
Yeah.
And, I can't like and comment on all the grandkid photos. I can't go to all the weddings where my friends are dancing with their sons. Yeah. I can't. I can choose which ones to go to. And I can choose, and I hope that they understand that how hard it is. But no, I can't do it forever.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of maybe our first thing that we gift ourselves is it's okay to avoid some things for at times, that, one of our warrior moms, Rayanne, I think, had a good strategy. She's like, I just avoid social media for this time period.
Yes.
And I think that's important for us to just go, you know what? I can turn my phone off and not look at this stuff for a while. And like you said, to choose, okay, I can't go to every single friend's wedding or baby showers, but I can write a special note. Or I can send a gift.
I can send a special gift or anything. I can still be a part, even though I don't have to be physically present there. Because it is important for us to do boundaries for ourselves and our mental health. Yeah.
And I remember you talking about going to one of Alec's friends' weddings.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
And there's some family members, or it was a family that we were very close with that, we kind of watched kids grow up from like middle school once we moved up to North Atlanta, just from middle school on. And it was great. It was beautiful, small, very intimate. We were lucky to be invited because it was a small wedding, and went, and I just didn't think anything of it really. And then that mother-son dance started happening and I had to excuse myself.
Yeah.
I just had to walk out and, and I didn't make a big scene. You just kind of sneak out, but still I'm like, oh God, I hope they didn't see me.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I didn't make them sad. I didn't, because I know they do love me, and, they know I love them. It's just, but it's hard, but it's happy.
Mm-hmm.
But it hurt.
So heavy.
It hurt. And so, we dipped out early, and which was fine because they did not miss us.
Yeah.
But,
and I think,
I just didn't want them to see me sad.
You,
yes. I just didn't want them to see.
They understand that you're sad, though.
Yes.
And I think that's okay. Like, we're so self-conscious, I think. Like, oh, gosh, I don't want people to know this or see this. It's okay. I mean, you're going to be sad. And if they saw you leaving, whether or not they did,
yes,
that's normal and it's okay.
And
you showed up and you supported them, and then you took care of yourself too.
Yeah. So,
And for me, I try as a strategy of kind of, I call it like walking down a path of pitfalls. I imagine my day. What does, if this occurs, what will I say? What will I do? What are things? And then I'll go down another path. And what if I fall apart in the middle of class on the first day of school, introducing Carter? Okay, well then what would I do? And what would I talk about? And not that I can, guess all the pitfalls, certainly, but just kind of imagining what those moments might feel like and what are some strategies. That certainly helps me to get through.
And I'm sure
days.
Even 7 years, 7 first days of schools or 6 first days of schools or whatever I don't know how the math plays out, but you're still surprised.
Yes.
There's still surprises that come that you haven't pre-thought about. Like, I'm not, like I said, I went to the wedding, didn't think anything of it. Yeah. But like, you're so good at preemptively walking through your day. I am so good at, here I am, what's next, and it's just, I think that's why we make a good team here, is because
you see both sides.
Yeah.
How's this feel on both ends?
Yes. Yeah. And that's just the way I live my life. I have always have. And just, it gets.
Well, and there's, like you said, you cannot predict.
You cannot predict.
And you cannot predict just the emotional triggers. I mean, just sitting in class and, I had a kid that smiled. I mean, it was like as if Carter had taken over his face. I mean, he didn't.
Do you stare at those? Because I saw a kid that looked just like Alex.
Yeah, and you're like, oh my goodness.
And I did. I stared at him like, they're going to call the cops and get a restraining order. I'm staring at this kid so much.
And I lost my breath. It was, a brim of tears. And I just allowed the breath to, continue to breathe deeply, in and out, in and out, in and out. And then, really focusing on Carter. Like, if he was in this room, he'd know I was sad, but he would be like, Mom, but they're cool. Of course, if they're like me.
Of course, if they're like
cool,
me, they're a good-looking kid.
Yeah, and he'd make a joke and kind of tease me about
and
being emotional.
You come back to things you just can't predict. I know one of our newly bereaved moms, I saw her say something today or yesterday of, this is the worst day of my life, seeing these first day of school photos.
Yes.
And, nobody told me about this one.
Right. Because, of course, birthdays and the death dates and so forth.
And Christmas and Thanksgiving. People are like, oh, how's Christmas?
Right.
They don't say, oh, watch out for the first day of school.
Right. Yeah.
So, or Halloween, whatever. Yeah. There are so many things that are those triggers that you just can't. And that's where you just have to ask for grace.
Yeah. And for those around us, to just know that these are really hard days. And, just you asking, well, how are you doing? That's going to carry me the next couple days because I'm seen. I had our chaplain last year. I was new teaching at the high school. And, it was year 2 at the school that I teach at. And but I had moved up to the high school, and the high school chaplain came up and he said, I know about your son, but I haven't gotten to hear the story through your words. And he said, could we just carve some time?
I love it.
And so he and I met and we cried and talked and laughed and all the things. And I just said, I'm so appreciative because I feel seen. And that's what all of us
And the further
need,
we get out from from this,
Yes.
the less and less our children are remembered,
Right.
and our situations are forgotten.
Yeah.
And that's no fault to anybody. And that is, we're not here saying stop being happy about your child's first day of school.
Right.
That is not what we're saying. Please invite us to the weddings. Please invite us to the baby showers. Please
Yes.
post your children on social media. But we are having to learn how to deal with our grief.
Yeah. How do we navigate it? Because it is really like, when you look at a navigation system and, turn here and do this and do
Yes,
that.
and there's a wreck here. You need to figure out, and that's
What's
kind
your
of
route?
what's your route today.
Yeah. And my gut feeling when I saw that of that new bereaved mom was, go take a nap. I was like you. I was like,
just shut
go
your
sleep.
phone down.
Just go sleep. Just give yourself rest and time, because it's so. At times, it's like just every breath. It's just one breath at a time.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
And people say that, but it's truly, literally one step, one breath, one moment at a time. And that's where, like I said, I just want to make sure that people know we're not saying stop posting. We don't want to see it. No,
Right.
We do. We love seeing our friends and hearing our friends and celebrating their happinesses and their joys.
And seeing all their new backpacks,
the
and
new
tennis
backpacks
shoes,
and the outfits. OMG. I love their the first day of school outfit is planned for 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, it's just too cute, right?
I do. I love them, but do understand our side as well, that we might not like your post or comment on the post or come to the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because of you.
Yeah.
It's because of where we're at.
Yeah.
And that's just, and we hope one day that we can overcome all of that and not have to plan out our next route.
Yeah.
Our escape route.
The exit strategy.
Yes. I don't want to sit next to the back door just in case.
Yeah. But if you do, you do, right?
If you do, you do. And that's just, I think that's all we're saying is that just.
Yeah. There's a lot of firsts in this grief journey, and this first day of school is certainly a big one. So thanks for asking about how I am, because it's really hard, but we push through to find the joy. Right?
I'm proud of you for pushing through, and I'm proud to be your friend, and just to know that these are hard days.
Yeah, sure.
And you're here, looking at me, smiling.
I know.
I think you might have cried a little bit.
I might be wringing my hands.
You
over
are.
the table,
you might be crying a little bit earlier, but we're good.
We are.
And
I mean, focusing on that Carter was my kid, and I'm grateful for that. And just really trying to lean into that on these hard days. They're tough, but that's what gets me through it, is thinking about those happy, wonderful moments.
Those moments, yeah. That's all we can do. That is all we can do. And I know listeners out there, y'all. I know y'all have hard days. I know that there's some days that are harder than others, and it might not just be the first. It could be the 15th day that this has been, and it's still hard. And what do you think you can do to not necessarily avoid it, but what kind of boundaries do you need to put in place? What kind of that allows you to still be a part of everyday life? Yeah. And still honor yourself and your child and just your feelings. Yeah. So that's your journal entry, your thinking entry. That's your thought for today.
What are some strategies? We've talked about a couple, but what are some things that you can do to help get through some of those firsts? Yes. We just want to thank y'all so much for being here, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye. Bye.